I can't wait to see where this conversation goes. But we have Miss Tanya from Talking with Tanya. What's going on?
Nothing much, nothing much. I don't want you to get mad at me, but it's 10 years. So I want to make
Tanya.
sure I try and at least tell the person one time
And
and
I
not answer either
and
way.
I
So it's
and I
all
knew
good.
that, but like my brain just wants to always say Tanya instead of
I
I'm
know
sorry, I apologize.
it's okay. It's all right, CJ. We good.
But I do love having first time guests, and I'm used to having to reach out to them. So when you sent me the email about collabing and stuff, I was like, and I checked out your content, I'm like, oh, I have to have her on the podcast. So I
Oh,
appreciate
thank you. I appreciate
that.
you. That's what's up. I appreciate it.
So you do a vlog, and you do like not weekly, right? Or do you do multiple episodes a week?
I do multiple. So I do Monday through Friday
Okay.
because they're also played the audio version.
Mhm.
They're played on a local radio station in Killeen, Texas. If you heard of Fort Hood, it's
Okay.
that
Okay.
area. So they're played Monday through Friday there. So yeah, I do Monday through Friday unless something happens. I have a friend. He's a therapist. He goes by King J Barnett, and he be like, "Tell you consistent. Like I don't care rain, sleet, or snow." I was like, I feel like you covered. He said, "No, no, no. That's what's up. Like I need to be that consistent." I was like, oh, "Okay, gotcha." So, but I mean, I've been vlogging for 15 years. Well, it wasn't a
Gee.
vlog. Well, it wasn't a vlog at first. So let me get
Okay.
that clear. It was an email because 15 years ago we didn't have no social media. We
Yeah, yeah.
had AOL and Hotmail and some of them had Black Planet. We didn't have that, so it was an email. That's how Talk Continue started as an email once a week, and sometimes I might send it more than that. But yeah, through the various stages of technology, we've ended with a vlog. Well, that's where we're at now. Mess around and be a hologram by the time it's over with. So I don't know.
Man, yeah, the way technology move, you never know what it's going to be in a few years.
Maybe,
Um,
maybe.
yeah, and consistency is one of those things that's I think is very important in this thing that we do, like in this creative realm, and that's what will take people out is not being consistent. So like the fact that you keep up with it every day is like I know one other person. He does it in a podcast. His name's Matty Mo, and he does a daily podcast. And I think he's reached like day 400 straight of podcasting. And it's just like wow, man. Yeah.
Wow, well, I don't do it because at first, and I think that's I've kind of gotten into a flow. Because like I said, at first it would be like once a week when I first started as the email, and then everybody's like, "I need you," like I needed that day. So can you like send me something else during the week?
Mhm.
And then so like it was like once a week, and then kind of as I went to the different formats or whatever, I kind of just whatever I would get, some hit me. But now I kind of record for the week, and do it as like a series. So it's kind of
Mhm.
helped me to form it out. It helps to definitely make sure that I'm consistent now. So,
That's what's
mm.
up. That's what's up. So what made you start? I know you said you started as an email. What got you even wanting to start doing that?
So originally, 15 years ago, I'm telling my age, y'all. I had a nonprofit. I had a
Okay.
nonprofit in the business, but I had a nonprofit, and it was called the 20s AD, and it was for young adults. And it was specifically around mentorship, whether it was mentoring for your career, spiritual, just maybe, just regular like marriage, whatever it was. It was whatever the type of mentorship that you needed. We would partner you up with someone that would be a mentor in the area of focus that you needed. And so that was the main part or the meat of it. Plus we would have like meetups, and then the blog at the time, Talk with Tanya. I kind of
Mhm.
was just at first I was just gonna do it like as a newsletter, and I still did when I called it e-news, that was
Okay.
back then.
Mhm.
E-news. But no, I didn't. I called it an e-read. See, I was cool. And so, but after that, but I also wanted to send some encouragement. And so I just started sending an email outside of the e-read, and folks were like, I feel like you talking directly to me. Like I feel like you here. Now you gotta keep in mind this was an email. We didn't
Mhm.
have no audio, we didn't have video, stuff like that, you could send a person like that. And so for them to say it, I was like, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. And I'm a like you said, that consistency, that creative piece of it. Like when people say this is what they need, you delivering on it. I got, let me do it. And it's
Yeah,
already something that's fulfilling me. And so, that's kind of how it was blossomed and birthed from originally my nonprofit. And even though I dissolved the nonprofit, I kept Talking with Tanya going throughout the years. And it's still here today, and it's a part of my business and what I do now with Tanya J Miller LLC. So basically, I took the elements of what I was doing, honestly, in the nonprofit, in the business, and then taking it to where I am, as a professional as well in my career, and bringing it to what I do today in my business. So
that's what's up.
that's how we landed there.
And yeah, it's funny how like the path goes and how things grow and change, and you got to be willing to ride the wave that it takes you on, right? As much as
Right.
like we create the content and we kind of determine what we want to cover, but you still have to let it evolve its own way, because you may end up like, for me, like I started off, I picked with a mic, a blue snowball and a dream, right? And then now I'm like gotten into photography and videography, and it's all because it started with podcasting. I just built on top of that. So I completely understand what you mean with that.
That's
So
what's up. Yeah, a lot of times, even, you start doing something that you kind of have an interest in, but you don't know why you have that interest. And
mhm.
eventually, following that interest, it ends up uncovering the passion that was there and kind of get you kind of get you in a roundabout way to your purpose that you didn't even know was there, but you got to it because it was already there in the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are your goals in the future? I know you've been doing this for a long time. So like what are your short term and long term goals to continue growing?
Definitely. I mean, anybody that does what we does, we of course want to continue to, grow. Whether it's your platform, it's your audience, it's your tribe, it's your family, your viewers, your readers, your listeners. So absolutely, that's definitely, a goal to continue to do that. Continue to write books. I love to write, and that's probably why I've been able to, keep the talk with Tanya going so long, because it took me a minute to switch to audio
Mhm.
because I love to write. So
Yeah.
I still wanted to sit it as an email. They were like,
Yeah.
no, we need to see you, we need to hear you, and I was like, but I want to write. There's even plans for that. And that was like, it's been all along the plan, but it kind of morphed, like you said. So my plan all along, since I have so much content with Talking to Tanya, was to do, produce a series of devotionals from some of the
Mhm.
prior content. Well, before I even did that, I did a mixtape. That wasn't even on the plan, but I did a mixtape from some of the audio Talk continues, and I released that this last Friday in 2019. So, like you said, you have a plan, but some come up more dope or creative and you decide to flow that way. But so that's still part of it. So probably another Talking 10 Years mixtape will come out. I probably will, end up starting the series for the devotionals. That'll be a part of some of the books. Definitely, grow my coaching, program with my clients, and my leadership development series that I work with organizations and corporate, and do more speaking, and shoot, get off this 9 to 5. I'm just
Yeah.
being honest. Shoot,
I feel that.
do this thing called purpose every day, to where it's not just something that have to do on the side, but I'm able to do because it's just who I am, and it provides more than enough to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Not just for me to get by, but a full on legacy to be able to do something that makes a difference, not just for me, not just for my family, but for the people that I'm assigned to impact.
And legacy is the most important, like one of the most important things to me. Like I talk about legacy all the time, and so it's great that you brought that up. And like when you talk
I
about like
think.
impact, legacy is
Mhm.
super important. I think like we don't really, at least me, I let me speak for me. I didn't really take legacy as important until I was like in my late 20s, and it was like, look, what am I leaving behind? And like it clicks once you start thinking about things from a legacy perspective instead of just living day to day. It
Mhm.
makes a lot of stuff easier, right? And it all just kind of starts coming together. And when you talk about impact, like the episode I dropped today, someone messaged me, was like, I didn't even listen to podcasts, but I saw like your clip and I had to go listen. They're like, I know, like it just helped inform me that I'm making the right decisions because they're like taking a new step, a new chapter in their life. And I'm like, see, that's why I do that. The download numbers, the listens, that's all great, but all it takes is one person to say, look, I listened to your episode and I got something
Okay.
out of it, and it's worth more than 100 downloads to me.
That's, I mean, honestly, that right there is how I've been doing Talk with Tanya for 15 years. Because times when I slacked off, I would get an email, I would get a call, I would get somebody like, I haven't been getting your emails. What's going on? When you gonna get back? You know, and so that encourages you because not just say that you need somebody to hype you up, but that lets you know like you're making an impact. You are helping them as they go along in their journey, their life, and they need what you're able to impart. You know, they
Mhm.
need it, and so you're able to do that. It's amazing and it's a blessing, and you know, kind of like what you were talking about with the whole legacy as well. I did a speaking engagement a couple of years back with like an art class, and I wanted to do something creative. And this song, I know people like Tanya, did you really say this song is the one? Yes, it's by Beyonce, but it's one, it's not, it's called I Was Here. And when you literally listen to the words, like it really, to me, it really makes sense or it really embodies fully what it means to leave a legacy, what it means to leave this earth, this world full of not full but empty of purpose. That's one of
Mhm.
the things Dr. Miles Monroe would talk about. But like to say I was here, like it wasn't about just saying I did this, I did that, but I was here. Like you, when I'm gone, you're gonna notice what I
Yeah.
did. You're gonna see the imprint. You're gonna see the effects. You're gonna know that I was here. And so, you know, that's the part of like I want to know that after you came into contact with me, there was something I said, there was something I did, there was something I helped you along the way. That was old school. That reminded me of my Baptist when they was doing the testimonies in church. But yeah, but seriously, like that's like it's that real for me. Like you don't want to just be doing life and it's nothing. Like because that's not why we here. We here
Yeah.
for a whole purpose.
Yeah.
And I want to
Absolutely.
ensure that that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we are here for a purpose for sure, and we're here to change someone's life around us. We are here to leave impact not only on the world around us, but specific people. There are messages that you're gonna have that it may not be till a year or something later, but somebody's gonna catch it and is going to leave an impact, and that's part of your legacy. So yeah, I'm all about I'm all about legacy. So yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Thank you for sharing that. So every first time guest gets a surprise icebreaker question. Are you ready for this
I don't know, but okay, come
one?
on. I don't know. Man, I'm just gonna listen. I'm okay. Come on. I
All
have
right.
the crazy, so I'm gonna just gotta see what you did throw at me.
So this one is I honestly I took it kind of light on you, so don't worry about it. It's not gonna be nothing too crazy. But for this one is if you were forced to sit down with Donald Trump,
Uh,
if you were forced to sit down with him and explain to him what he's not understanding about the black community, how would you go about what would be your talking points to get it across to him?
um, you said this was easy. Okay,
Oh, this is way easier than some of the ones I've done. So
okay. I would say dang, because I don't even normally go political with stuff. Gosh, I would definitely say, you know, first seek to listen. You know, you do just talk a lot,
mhm.
and we hear you. And do you listen? You know, so
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely ask him. You know, first seek to listen. Just maybe just don't say nothing the whole time, and then don't tweet nothing after either. But just listen first. Seek
Yeah.
to listen first. And then, you know, I was like, so yeah, that's number two. Don't tweet nothing after our conversation. That's number two. That's number two. You can't tweet nothing either. And you know, definitely just kind of remind him, you know, I don't know if it makes sense, but kind of some of the things he thought or he was doing early on, because
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of things have changed in his perspective in the past 10 years than what they were originally. I don't know if something shifted, but even just kind of reminding him to have um, a different perspective, and maybe go back to some of those old ways of how he thought, because something feels like it changed. And I don't know what shifted, but kind of even that I would kind of see for him, because, or kind of meet him, because there's no need to get into an argument or a match, if you will, a debate. It would just be more or less just to kind of talk, because when voices get raised, he go in, and so I would definitely just more or less kind of talk about things and kind of see if he's able to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
That's
don't feel like he listen a lot no more.
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't talk to understand. He talks to get his point across and get the hell out. Like that's how he
Yeah,
converses. But that was good. I like that. I like that you were able to actually talk to, because a lot of people would have just been like F Donald Trump. So I'm glad that you were able to like really really think that through, especially since I threw it on you all unexpectedly. Um so getting into our like the kind of the topics that we have planned out to talk about on a deeper level. And so with listening and watching your vlog and your videos on YouTube, everyone go and check it out. If you don't, after you finish listening to this, go and watch your YouTube videos. But you do a very good job at like encouraging people on many different ways. And in the time that we live in, we've made it through this far into the recording without mentioning the coronavirus and all that stuff. But we are in dark times. People are losing their jobs. People aren't like certain about things. So I want to talk
Mhm.
about staying encouraged even through dark times, and not even just mentioning, like I said, the coronavirus, because we all go through seasons of darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think as people we need to stay in like good spirits when we're going through those dark times?
I think for one, and I'll be honest, I have this problem sometimes too, but we definitely are, as a race, a lot of times we can have more courage than anything, but be breaking down on the inside as well. And so I would just say, be open about your feelings,
Hmm.
and not necessarily to talk about them, but open to feel them. If you are worried and afraid, don't ball it up, don't push it to the side. A lot of times we confuse with faith and fear. And you can have faith but still address the feelings that you may have and still work through and process it. A
Hmm.
lot of times we don't process. And so if anything, I would just kind of say be open to feeling the feelings that you may be having, because they're real.
Yeah.
I talked about this week myself, um, the two words uncertainty and indefinitely. And they made me laugh because I said they're really, when you look at the definition, they're oxymorons, because one says unlimited and one says unforeseen. How
Hmm.
can it be both? Because that's what it is. And so that means that your situation, your season can change tomorrow, or it can change 10 years from now, because there's no time on it that you can tell for right now, but it can still change. And so, if anything, those two words made me laugh, because they also reminded me of my other favorite words, which are, even if there's uncertain times, even if things are indefinite, there is still a nevertheless. There is still a
Hmm.
despite. There is still a in spite of. And so, as you work through your feelings that you're processing, know that you can't put a date on it, but also know that because there's no date on it, there's still an opportunity. There's still a chance. There's still room. There's still something. And that's where the hope comes from. That's where the faith comes from. And so hold to that. Like you said, we there's always some type of time, there's always some type of season that we all go through. Unfortunately, the world is experiencing one all at the same time, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we stop. That doesn't mean that we don't keep going. That doesn't mean we don't, as my late granny would say, we don't that doesn't mean we don't keep living. So
Yeah.
if I can encourage anybody of that they may be going through, keep living, because I can tell you, I'm not one that I'm just talking. I'm telling you that I know that you can. Like when the last recession hit, my husband and I went through 6 bouts of unemployment in seven
Ooh,
years as a newly married couple, be in a completely different state. And yeah, so
yeah.
I'm not telling you what I haven't lived. I'm not telling you what I don't know. And that was just life, with my husband. But even growing up, we went through hardships and trying times. You know, ain't no electricity, so you got like that fireplace, so you stay warm.
Mm,
I know what it's like to boil water,
yeah.
got no heat. You know what I'm saying? So I know that. So I'm telling you that that's where resilience comes from. That's where determination and faith and endurance come from. Pull on that. Don't act like you ain't got it. Like just because you ain't used it in a minute, pull that resilience out. You got this.
Say that. Yeah, speak on that. And it's funny because like we come in this world resilient. Like you ever
Mhm.
seen like a toddler? They're some of the most resilient people when they're walking, they fall on their butt, you're right back up, like nothing even
Hey,
happened.
you
And
be
for
like, they be like, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. You
yeah.
just be like, oh my God, oh, she just need to go to the emergency room. And they be like, I'm good.
Exactly. And so like we lose that as we get older and we understand more about the world. For some reason we
Yeah.
lose that resiliency. And I don't that's something that it's so interesting when you think about it from that perspective. Like even not even physically, like kids will get upset by something. Like if you take something away from a kid, they're upset, give them 3 minutes, they're over it. But yet as adults, we'll sit there and stay in that mindset for weeks and months, and depression kicks in. And it's like, how do we get to the point that we lost our resiliency? It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy.
I talked to probably maybe a couple of months ago. I was in church one day, and I was visiting with my friends and this little baby, when I tell you she didn't care, she was like, I mean, she licking all on her mama's face. She slapping her. I was like, dang, that's bold. That baby don't even care. Mama, what? I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And I ended up literally talking that whole week about the boldness of a baby and why can't we be like that? Why can't we, regardless of who around, what's going on, why can't we still be that bold, unashamed, unafraid,
Yeah.
unapologetic? What happened? Why we can't? So absolutely, we got to pull that back. We got to go back to that because we don't got too scared. We didn't got
Mhm.
too uppity and high and mighty. And, oh, I can't go through no more. Yes, you can. You can.
Exactly.
We get through this.
And it's so simple. Like when I like tell people that if they come to me for advice or anything and they're down, I'll say nothing you've been through yet has killed you. So why are you so down? Like look at everything you've been through so far. You're gonna make it through this too. Not to say like dust it off. Sometimes we all do need to talk to someone. We do need to work through things. And I don't want to make anyone feel belittled because they do, but at the same time, realize that this is a season. We are going to make it past through this like we have everything else. But yeah, and then to piggyback off something else you said, like trust your instincts. I like people have lost the ability to talk to themselves, right? Because people like look at it like if you're talking to yourself, oh, I'm not crazy, I'm not going to talk to myself. No, that just means you're trusting yourself. You're trusting yourself to work through your thoughts. And that's why we sit there and we talk to ourselves and think things through. You got to trust your instincts. Your instincts are your body's way of telling you, hey, we know what's finna come. I'm trying to prepare you for it, but we fight our own instincts sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and to point the add to what you said, definitely. If you read my book, My Matters, I talk about it like I wrote the book not just for people that are dealing with it, but for people that are around somebody that's dealing with a mental situation, a mental health situation, a serious season for them to know how to talk to them. So us telling you that you're going to get through it, and that you got through it before, so you can do it again. It's not to belittle the situation, but just to remind you of what's in you.
Yeah.
Like, irregardless, I just want you to pull out what's in you. Like, I want you to go that deep, no matter how deep and buried it may be. I want you to go that deep and find that. And if that means going to therapy, if that means going to work, run every day, if that means going to go admit yourself into the hospital, whatever it is to get you back to find the resilience, the boldness of a baby, the resilience of a toddler, whatever it requires to pull that out of you. We want you to do it because we want to remind you that you did it before so you can do
Yeah.
it again. And that's all
Exactly.
both of us, me and CJ, telling y'all today.
There you go. Period. Point blank. And I had on here too to talk about like what or who keeps us encouraged as people? Because I know we give advice on both of our platforms on how to uplift people, but who uplifts the uplifter sometimes? Like, who does that for you?
Well, number one, they tell you all the time, the preacher still got to pastor the preacher. The pastor
Exactly.
still got a pastor, the
Yeah.
therapist still got a therapist, the coach still got a coach, so don't think that we don't have somebody that we go to, or we don't have a support system. And so if anything, that's what I can say. It's a layered support system. It's my husband, it's my friends, it's my therapist, it's my pastor, it's my aunties, it's my mentors, it's my coaches. It's layered. I have that support there that I can call on and lean on. And child, I've been leaning for real on them, because it's been a rough year and a half for me. I'm just gonna be honest. But I know that I can lean on them. And so even, if you hear me, you see me, know that I might be going through, but that doesn't mean that I can't help you, because I'm still called to help you regardless. So yeah, make sure you have a good solid support system, and make it balanced. Don't lean on one somebody all the time. Have a therapist, have a coach, have a friend, have a mentor, have a good balanced support system. And definitely, listen to CJ show, listen to my show, listen to some encouraging, uplifting words, podcasts, audio books. If you a believer, listen to messages, listen to some music, go work out, like have something that is a good foundation for you, so that you don't get off balance and off track.
Yeah, and it's important the content you take in, like, right. And I don't want to get on like a high. Or some people are like, "Well, y'all watch," because I watch my Ratchet TV. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I don't. But but you gotta balance it also with
Oh
taking
yeah.
in things that feed you spiritually, that feed you mentally, as well as
Yeah.
like the escapism with some of the stuff you do.
Man,
And reading is
man,
important. Yeah, I mean,
my
because you're
husband,
not gonna take away my Ratchet TV from my
he done got
because
better with it. I was like, for real, like you go watch every really, you go watch every one of these Love and Hip Hops. Like, you really gonna do this? Like, he done got better now, because he working on something right now, so he done put it to the side. But oh
okay,
my god,
yeah.
he was out of control. Right.
Yeah, love and
Yeah,
hip hop Atlanta is back, and I refuse to not watch that. But it is what it is. But no, but seriously, it is important to like balance the content that you put in, because
it
it's
is.
it's it's
It
it's like
is.
feeding you mentally, and when you constantly feed
Yeah.
yourself craziness, then you wonder why you go crazy. Like, look at what you've been feeding your brain all this time.
I mean,
And
I'm an 80s baby, so I still, if I have a mood, I will throw me on some No Limit radio on Pandora. Give me some No Limit. If I need to.
hey, you got to do it. Like, hey, Wobble Wobble is an old Negro spiritual. I don't care what nobody say. Um,
Oh god. Now you know what really is the one is the butterfly. That's see, that's
oh
the
yeah,
one. That's the
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. That's funny. Oh man. So lastly, last topic that we got for today is suggestions before we end up talking about, because we didn't even get into juvenile, because that definitely belongs in the locked up in the in some type of safe in the White House somewhere to preserve it for the next generation. But
Juve. Okay, you
all
gotta
right,
get serious.
let's get
Okay.
it. Let's send it. All right. So lastly, to end it, three suggestions for the people who are listening on how to overcome yourself, because often we do get in our own way, and I think that's the biggest obstacle that we need to face first, is getting out of our own way. So what are the three suggestions that you have for people to get out their way?
So one of the first ones I always tell people is stop. Just stop. Like stop stop thinking, stop talking, stop moving, just stop. Because a lot of times you doing stuff and you don't even know why you're doing it. And then you trying to figure out how you got there. So you might just need to take a minute. Take a minute, stop. Number two, breathe. Stop and breathe. And then once you finish, once you stop, once you breathe, the next thing I would tell you is, okay, really look at what it is that's going on and what you're thinking about, and break it up. Because a lot of times, especially when I'm talking to clients, I'm speaking, you know, even working with somebody, a lot of times or just period myself, I see the big thing. And so I see everything that I'm trying to do, everything that's happening, everything that's going on. In some kind of way, she was supposed to go do it. She was supposed to go get it. Wonder Woman's supposed to make it happen. Iron Man's supposed to get it done. The Rock's supposed to get it all fixed. And no, like that's why they got capes. We don't got capes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have supernatural powers in that way. We might think we do, but we don't. And so make it to something, that's achievable, that's reasonable, and that's actually doable, because we can do a whole situation, and it don't even take all of that. And it's not only don't take all that, we don't even know the end. Remember I said the uncertainty type thing? We don't even know, but we already think we got it all figured out and planned. And so, now bring it back. Hold up, bring it back. I'll tell somebody that. I'm like, hold on. They be like, what? I'm like, stop. Stop. They be like, tell you what you mean. Because you're doing too much. Stop. You don't even know. Yes, I do. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like, stop. Because we will pull ourselves down before anybody else can. We will take up all of these things that can happen, that can be, and do all of this to ourselves and have that negative self-talk when we don't even have to. It's not necessary. Stop, breathe, break it down. That's it. Because we're doing too much. And if you stop doing too much and really figure out the much that you should be doing and figuring that out, your portion, you'll be better. Do your portion. That's it. Do your portion. Stop trying to say we put them capes down. It's unnecessary.
Hey, there you go. I feel all of that. They put the cape down. I think you may have just titled this episode, "Put the Cape Down." See, there you go. That's how we go. We pull off inspiration as we're recording. But yeah, I love those suggestions. Yeah. So, but that's it. I got nothing for you. Is there anything on your mind or your heart you want to talk about before we go?
No, that's it. I have enjoyed the opportunity. Like we said, follow us, subscribe. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Talk with Tanya. Go check out my website, TanyaJMiller.com. And this is what I try and do: help you figure out how to fit the puzzle pieces of life together so you can do life right, you can do it well. So y'all stay empowered, put them capes down, and breathe. We gonna get through.
There you go. And you will be back. I'm just letting you know right now, because the first time you're a guest, the next time you're family. So now you're just gonna get a message like, "Hey, I need you next week. You good?"
Yes, sir. I got it. I'm ready.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys check out and support. Go and listen and follow on all those platforms. Like I said, you definitely get fed spiritually and mentally, and probably like just be like, "Oh yeah, I've been fucking up." So you can definitely go and check it out.
See, I ain't even gonna talk to y'all like that. He coming at y'all just. I ain't even gonna hit you like that.
They know what to expect. They come back each and every week. They know what to expect from me. I give it straight, no chases. Sometimes I'm nice. Sometimes I can't talk to them nice all the time. You can't do it all the time.
They say I get a look. That's how they say. They be like, "Did she look at you? How she look at you?" I be like, they be like, "Them looks. If you got a look, I'm like, I ain't even do nothing."
See, that's the mama looks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for joining us from this week's episode, and we're out. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.